Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Abhijit, sum up what the Prime Minister has said.
For me, the speech was more a message to Trump than it was to Pakistan, really. Right? First, he said nuclear blackmail isn't going to work. Now, how did they manage to get Trump on the table? Citing nuclear. The moment nuclear comes out, the Americans get very rattled. The second, he said this is the new normal. If you are arguing for a ceasefire, strategic stability and things like that, the onus doesn't lie on us. If we are attacked like Pahalgam again, we are going to blow things up the way we did. Now, these messages have already been conveyed to Pakistan. This was a message very specifically for Trump. The third thing, which makes this very clear, he said no trade and talks together. Bhai, हमारा 10 साल से कौन सा trade चला है पाकिस्तान के साथ. Fourth, he said water and blood will not flow together. That is your sign that the Indus Water Treaty has been completely delinked from any peace process or anything like that. Fifth thing that he said was there can be no terror and no talks. And the only talks that are going to happen, which has subsequently been clarified, is going to be on POK and nothing else. So these were all messages that were very carefully curated for the Americans and for Trump. Now, the problem in all of this is, there is business English and there's literary English. There is no such thing as business Hindi per se. So, Americans as a rule, they tend to think, I'm getting all my American think tank friends, they're basically saying, we think this was more like, a grandstanding speech. It was a literary tour de force. And I'm like, listen, you need to understand this difference. Hindi is not like English. In Hindi, the impact is conveyed by the floweriness. So there is something lost in translation, which I think subsequent briefings of the ME have made very clear. This speech was aimed entirely at Donald Trump and the Americans.
And if there's any confusion or room for any misinterpretation after what Dr. Ranganathan says now, tell your American friends to listen to this carefully. Dr. Ranganathan. Sir, I think you're on mute. Sir, this is the new India, sir. You should be roaring. Mute pe aap. कुछ issue है, sir. कुछ fix करना पड़ेगा. I think, the Americans are behind this. Yeah, कुछ तो हुआ है. They don't want the message to come through. But Tushar is ready. Tushar.
Look, whatever the Prime Minister said yesterday and what he said today at the Adampur base, it inspires confidence. It's a show of strength. There are a lot of buffoons in India on social media who sort of question our resolve, question the resolve of our military, unfortunately. And democracy permits them to do so. It will permit them now. It will permit them in the future as well. That's how we are as a country. But this show of strength, this confidence, it's important for our forces going forward because Operation Sindoor is not over. I think what we have seen until now is probably only the first chapter. The Pakistanis are a stubborn lot. They are stubborn. They live with the single objective of annihilating India and Hindus. Even if it takes to blow themselves up, they'll happily blow themselves up as long as it takes to hurt India. That's how Pakistanis are as a nation, and that includes all 24 crore people. One interesting point the Prime Minister made earlier today in Adampur was that we are no longer going to acknowledge whatever mutual exclusivity is between the Pakistani military and the terrorist groups. That is, I think, a very important message being sent out. Since day one, the Prime Minister has said, this time we are not going for the terrorists alone, we are also going for their enablers, for their promoters, which is the Pakistani military. And I think if the Pakistani military wants to make the fight of the terrorists their own fight, they are in for a very, very long ride, Pranesh. A lot of rumors on...
Yeah, go ahead, Tushar, yeah.
No, look, a lot of rumors were floated on social media about our S-400s. In fact, it was the Global Times from China that actually first ran this news piece that an S-400 has been destroyed in India. Today, the Prime Minister going to Adampur, it puts an end to all these rumors. It puts an end to all the discussions that have been going around on the imaginary destruction of the India.
You're absolutely right. Major Punia, said it when he said ये trolling था, एक तरह का fact check था. Dr. Ranganathan is back, locked and loaded. Dr. Ranganathan, my favorite part is the Tandav and the Trishul symbolism. I just love it.
Absolutely, Pranesh. My apologies for the audio not being there, but thank you very much for having me, and good evening to my fellow panelists. It's again a privilege and an honor to be sharing the stage with them. That was a rousing speech by the Prime Minister, and I think it left me thinking, yes, this man has got my back. Even his sworn adversaries, Pranesh, would acknowledge that in matters of defense and national security, time and again, Modi has risen to the occasion. Like Grossman's General Novikov, he chooses his time and his place. That is what leaders do. They listen, but they lead. His words were soothing for us, but to be honest, intimidating for our enemy. And that is why that reference to Veeron ki dharti was so befitting. You know, eyeing the expanse of the battlefield must be overpowering. Your whole life flashes before you. That sapling that you loved once, nurtured with love and care for decades and saw it turn into a beautiful, strong tree. So much investment is about to be hacked. You must exhale the futility of it all, but you never turn around. You never bat an eyelid. You march on. And that is why our jawans do every night this same thing. You tell me another job where you'd be willing to die for someone you don't even know. Can any man work for posthumous recognition? 5 of our bravest have attained martyrdom in Operation Sindoor. They died while restoring the Sindoor. Their deaths are a burden all of us carry. This burden was reflected in Modi's speech today. And as his words echoed in the plains of the Punjab that has seen so much blood and valor over centuries, I couldn't help but realize this burden one more time. I felt at once small but grateful too, enveloped by the enormity of the sacrifice of those who defend us and are willing to die defending us. It's quite unsettling, really, because when you understand it, you understand that our jawans are not made of the same metal as soldiers of our enemies are. They don't crumble to dust. They are fearlessness incarnate, and that is why they can never be forgotten. There are no two Indias today, Pranesh. We are one. There are no Tamilians or Biharis or Garhwalis or Bengalis today. Only Indian, I mean it. When you become part of that armed forces, you lose every identity. That iron ingot mine from the depths of Odisha, or that filter coffee dabra from Chennai, or those metal horns from Manipur, or that plow from Jharkhand, they melt and they travel in the trenches molten, and they come together and they are forced to form that trophy called India. And when someone like Modi lifts it, you cannot see its parts. And then you ask, at what point does the whole become greater than the sum of its parts? At the point when someone you never met, never heard, never saw, dies, and you feel you have lost your son, your uncle, your father. It is tough, I admit, for those like me who don't believe in God. We cannot unburden our fear, share our grief. We cannot blame a higher power. We can only seek solace in the fact that we are a bunch of cells evolved through chance, that this complicated machine that took so much time to reach where it did, so much effort to become what it is, so many memories to remember it by, this machine has once again crumbled to what it was formed with: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen and phosphorus. For what else does Kaal ke kapal par likhta mitata hu, geet naya gata hu mean, Pranesh? And for those who do believe in God, may these few lines bring them solace. Those who sign seldom wait, whisked away by power great, but said he in unsure voice, how I wish I had the choice, how I wish that you were late.
Well said, Dr. Ranganathan, as always. मेजर पूनिया, जब प्रधानमंत्री ये कहते हैं, जब रात के अंधेरे में भी जब हम सूरज उगा देते हैं तो दुश्मन को दिखाई देता है, भारत माता की जय, इसका संदेश बहुत गहरा है, बहुत दूर तक जाता है और बहुत ही स्पष्ट है. मेजर पूनिया, अगर आपको आवाज आ रही है तो.
हाँ, आ रही है. मेरा को आपका जो पहला वाला सेंटेंस सुना, लेकिन मैं आपको एक चीज और बोलने वाला हूं. आपके चैनल पे मैंने जब ये शुरू हुआ था तब कहा था कि जो हमारी इंटेलिजेंस है, जो हमारे जो लोग हैं वहां पे, उनकी आर्मी के अंदर जो हमारे जो सोर्सेज हैं, उन्होंने बताया था कि मुनीर न्यूक्लियर बंकर में है. लोग बोलते रहे कि नहीं है, और कल वो पूरी दुनिया के सामने साबित हो गया कि मुल्ला मुनीर कल पहली बार हॉस्पिटल में आया. तब तक वो बाहर नहीं आया. और मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से बहुत ही रेस्पॉन्सिबली मैं बोल रहा हूं कि जो जनाजा जो आतंकवादी जिनका मारा था, और जिसमें पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के 3, एक लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल, एक मेजर जनरल और एक ब्रिगेडियर जो गए थे, और बहुत सारे उनके सोल्जर्स भी गए थे। मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से ये मैं आपको एक चीज क्लियर बता रहा हूं और ये बात पूरी दुनिया को पता चलना चाहिए और पाकिस्तानियों को भी पता चलना चाहिए कि अगर दोबारा इंडिया पे कोई टेरर अटैक हुआ और अगर इंडिया ने जब उनके ऊपर वापस हमला करेगा, उनके आतंकवादी जब मारे जाएंगे और उनके जनाजे में अगर पाकिस्तानी आर्मी का कोई भी अफसर जाएगा तो उस जनाजे के ऊपर भी हम मिसाइल मारेंगे। ये मैं बिल्कुल आपको क्लियर बता रहा हूं। दिस विल बी द न्यू नॉर्मल, दिस विल बी द न्यू पॉलिसी। और अगर दोबारा ऐसा हुआ तो इस बार उनके ऊपर दिन में उनकी रात कर दी जाएगी। जैसे अभी रात में उनका उजाला करके सूरज उगा दिया गया है, तो इस बार दिन में उस जनाजे में खड़े हर आदमी का, चाहे वहां आतंकवादी हो, चाहे वहां सिपाही हो, चाहे फौज के लोग हों, उनके ऊपर इंडियन आर्मी, इंडियन एयरफोर्स उनके ऊपर फिर मिसाइल दागेगी। ये ऐसा होने वाला है, ये मैं आपको बता रहा हूं। दिस विल बी द न्यू नॉर्मल। इंडिया अपने टर्म्स खुद लिख रहा है। जैसा कि अभिजीत ने बताया कि टॉक्स टेरर नहीं होगा, ट्रेड वो नहीं होगा, पानी का कुछ नहीं होगा, ब्लड वो सब साथ नहीं जाएंगे। बात सिर्फ कश्मीर, वो भी पाकिस्तान ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर पे होगी। और जो हालत पाकिस्तान के हैं इकोनॉमिकली, सोशली, मिलिट्रीली, तीनों हिसाब से देखा जाए तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है।
Air Marshal Rana, the Prime Minister has drawn the Lakshman Rekha.
Actually, it's very difficult to speak after Anand and Punya with so much of passion that they have put into this. I'll only say that yes, this was very, very perfect messaging, and I think this would serve as a case study for all psychologists and communication strategists. You know, that how a message is communicated to one and all, and how the entire display of your might, even just by merely speaking few words, and it's communicated deep, which will really, really hit Pakistan very hard. And I also agree with Abhijit that quite a bit of this was also meant for the Pakistan, for America. You know, the kind of statements that were coming from, whether it's from Trump or other reactions, I think it needed to call that bluff as well, which was very rightly done by the MEA briefing, I think, today. So I'll not go on.
No, you're right. In fact, I want to bring in Abhijit on that MEA briefing. So Abhijit, you know, here you have a situation where first the Prime Minister, like you said in your opening remark, sent a subtle message to Trump, and then the government of India making it absolutely clear that Donald Trump is lying when he said that, you know, the thing about trade, etc., was even discussed.
But that the last speech should have, the Prime Minister's speech should have left us in absolutely no doubt. You tell me logically, how is Trump didn't pick up the call and speak to anyone? It was J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio who actually have a huge amount of experience in this. You know, J.D. Vance has been coming to the Munich Security Conference for the last 5-6 years non-stop. They know how this thing plays out. So this was one of those things, you know, I'm putting it down to classic Trump credit taking for everything, sometimes quite justified, sometimes not. In this case, not justified. But, you know, he thought he could probably get away with it. Now, notice we haven't pushed back in an indecent way, say the way Justin Trudeau did and cost him his career, or the way Peter Dutton did, which made him lose the election. It's been done in a very firm, in a bureaucratic way, which is the way these things should be done. Besides, tell me something, Pranesh, does it really even matter in India what Trump says? 99% of the people sitting in India, be they speaking Tamil or Haryanvi or like Anand does Punjabi, you know, is it really even relevant to those people what a man in a Yankee accent says? When has an American president's pronouncement ever been politically relevant in India?
Okay. Let's just, you know, leave it at that.